what episode are we on?
We are on money anxiety in the digital age.
Yeah. I think the premise of this episode is just talking about digital experiences and the digital age and reflecting on how that feels to live in a world where things can feel different. They can feel like they're changing. There can be some uncertainty around how things work, whether it's transferring funds or making payments, and are digital experiences scary is kind of the question that I think we want to set out and answer today.
Mm-hmm.
And is it safe, right? Like,
Yep.
that's a hot topic. So
if you've ever laid awake in bed after paying someone for a Facebook marketplace transaction using Venmo and wondered, like, was that a good idea? Like, did I do the right thing in that situation? Maybe this one is kind of for you.
And this topic kind of sprung out of an experience you had talking to a person about their concerns.
Yeah.
What was how did those questions come about, or what were the questions with that member?
Yeah, we did have a member that called in after listening to an episode, and she said, "You say that we can call and ask questions, and I have them, so I'm calling, right?" And I got that phone call, and we had a really good conversation, right? And she was just not. I don't think she had a lot of anxiety about it, but she was a little nervous and just curious about, is it time for me to maybe try online payments? Or, maybe because my kids use Venmo, should I explore that so it's easier to transfer money? And just some really, kind of those basic questions we feel like we probably don't have answers to, but like just a little bit of reassurance there. And how does that all work? How do I know that Excel isn't going to sell my, credit card number to everybody out there when I make my payment? And how does that all work? So she had some really good questions about that, and really happy that she called in.
Was her main concern or main questions just like, I don't understand this and this is scary, or?
It was a mix of both. And, really, I think a lot of it was she had a lot of different people telling her a lot of different things, and she really just kind of wanted that trusted source to be able to vet through the different things that she had heard about it. And so, Royal is that trusted expert advisor, and she took advantage of that. And she happened to be a member, but even if you're not a member, we can, help you and answer those questions and be, a partner in that. So I think she was really just looking for that, reassurance of, okay, I trust you. What do you think? How do I navigate this? It was a good conversation.
Yeah, 100% aligned with financial education, really,
Yeah.
because I think that's where the most uncertainty comes from. Almost, how does a bill pay actually work? Like, what's happening behind the scenes to get my money from my account to the person that I'm paying, or the organization, the business that I'm paying? Like, those are the basics.
And to have those conversations, even as we were talking, some of my answers were, there's always going to be a little bit of risk, right? Like, I can't guarantee it's 100% safe every single time, but you have to make that informed choice. But being able to just talk through that and be like, okay, listen, it does not make sense to me that I can just tap my card and it pays. And how is that possibly safe? Like, being able to just really break down those things that, like, I'm not a tax expert, I don't know the technicalities behind how. I do know a little bit, but, being able to have those conversations on things that, like, it really doesn't make sense how that's any safer, but, here's kind of how it works and what you can do to protect yourself too.
Can I throw this curveball a
100%.
little bit? Is like, I think the biggest thing that I hear from people who are worried is just security wise. They don't like the idea of putting their information into a computer or electronic sort of thing. What is this something that member said? And like, how, when somebody's like, I don't want to do this, I'd rather just keep it old school.
Yeah, kind of comes down to how we talk about everything. Like, you have to weigh what feels best to you and what the options are. So, example, you're sending a check every month for your utility bill. Okay, so you put it in the mail, the post office picks it up. What happens to that, between that time is a little bit out of your control. So does somebody take that check out of your mailbox? And check washing is the thing now. So your payment might not get made, and maybe they fraudulently filled that out, and now it's $200 that, you're paying and have an unpaid bill. Where if you, utilized like a bill pay service through your online banking app, you're putting in the information and then they do it two different ways. They sometimes will just cut a paper check and send it. A lot of times it's more of an electronic check, or you'll see like an ACH transfer through there. So it's more just digital moving compared to actually having to mail that check and get that and cash it. And that can be, a little bit safer from an access standpoint. Like you're eliminating that third party and, check floating around out there. And when it's your own financials have standards, and our apps are very safe, and we, have multi-factor authentication, and, we have that protection where if the payment didn't get made, we can, look into it a little bit more. So you kind of just got to weigh what you feel like your risk is. Is there a chance someone could potentially get your information and log into your online banking? Yeah, there's always a chance of it. It doesn't, you just have to kind of, I feel like I'm probably more safe doing that due to all the security measures than just putting, a check in the mail and having my account number and information on there that someone could take.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. I think framing up the conversation as like risk versus convenience, or comfort versus convenience. And I also think it makes sense to be informed about what kind of protections are in place.
Yeah.
Like, are you actually liable if something goes wrong because of the payment method that you chose? Or is it something that could be reversed? Or is there fraud protection available and something in place like a safety net? So if you think of like a credit card, for example, using a credit card online, like no credit card company is going to be like, I can't believe you got hacked. You're on the hook for this transaction that clearly was not you, that you did not authorize. So just thinking of an example like that, like that's an easy example to.
Yeah. We talked with this member. That was one of the things she asked, where I think she had a neighbor who said, use a credit card for everything. And absolutely, you can use a credit card online. And we tend to recommend that just because credit cards usually have some extra protections in place and insurance and stuff. So, if you use that credit card, it's not your money that they're taking. It's not coming right out of your account. It's easier you're not out as much, right? So it's a bit easier to resume that or recoup that. That's what I meant. But, there's a lot of times an extra processing fee that you might get charged for using your credit card. And it's usually based off the payment amount. So if you're making a $200 payment versus a $20 payment, you're going to pay more. Is it worth it to, pay more compared to putting in your checking account and routing number? So there's that, convenience cost too. And just if that's worth it to be a little bit safer, you have to decide that too.
Yeah, it's almost like a case-by-case basis, which I think has been a frequent advice. Like you kind of have to do some research and do some homework and evaluate, what are you trying to accomplish? What are your options and what are you comfortable with?
What kind of roadblocks was the member running into by not using some of these services?
I don't think that she was running into really any road blocks per se. I think that probably some things were a little less convenient, or she was a little more nervous about, mailing that check, knowing that there's check fraud out there, and just having to, plan ahead a little more. But I don't think that there was anything that was, really making her life difficult.
How about the person-to-person payment?
Yeah, I think that one, and those, it's so hard because there are like Zelle, Venmo, those are very popular companies we hear about. They're generally pretty safe, right? And they have, procedures and things based off the transaction where, yes, it can get reversed. Yes, there's some protection there. keeping like large balances in that account, they're not insured or protected the same way that they are, having money in your checking account or your savings account. So, not using them like a bank account, using them just as like I have my debit card attached or my credit card attached, and it's just a way to get money one place to another, like another layer. Being mindful of those types of things. I think it's so much easier with Venmo because so many people use it, but you can still just give cash. Royal has a, person to person transfer option. And yes, it's a little bit different, but you put their phone number in, they get it that way versus, having to actually sign up for a new account and things like that. So,
Yeah, that's my big plugin is that if you have like one of the services but not the other, and then the other person's like, oh, I use this one, you're like, I don't want to sign up for another thing.
yeah.
I'm like, just can I use my Royal account to send you money through
Yeah.
that? And it's like,
People think it's difficult. It's actually super,
bad.
it's super easy to use. But, it's especially like when you have kids, they're like, all my friends have Venmo, all of the, like, it's just easier. Can we just do that? And yeah, sure, it is, but it's your comfort level. Like, do you want to have another account like that? Knowing that there's always going to be endless options. And as a consumer, you get to decide what you do with your information. And I think that is the hardest one. So, even if it's just having an email for your bills accounts, like where you can manage those a little bit better and not get all the other spammy emails in there, or, just being mindful that I don't think I have to give all of that information, right? Like, who do you feel confident having that information with, and what makes it more convenient to you? And do you get percent off for having e-statements, and where do those go? So I don't, it's so hard to give you
Yeah.
know,
I think these systems are also sometimes really intimidating to someone
yeah,
who is like, I don't even know. Like, they're not a place, like, there's no person who you're going to
yeah,
call to be like, hey, Venmo, can you just walk me through how this works?
yeah,
Like, it's all in the digital experience, and it works well. But if you have a question, or if you're like, I just need someone to explain this to me,
yeah,
yeah, you could watch a video. But like, what if you wanted someone to just like talk you through it? Like,
yeah,
you don't call someone at Venmo to be like, oh yeah, I was
yeah,
just wondering, like, blah blah blah. Where unfortunately
yeah.
that's not part of their support package. So I think having a trusted resource that you can reach out to, like a family member or a friend or something like that,
Mhm.
that's valuable to get another perspective on any of those tools. I think being aware of the different expectations and the different services that are available is helpful. Recognizing if the different, if you're using Venmo, for example, you're basically probably better off treating that like cash when you're using it
Yes.
to transfer funds or make a payment. If you're using Venmo thinking that it offers you like purchase protections or like a reversible transaction for different stuff, like, I don't know, you bought something from a farmer's market and you sent the person a Venmo. Maybe it was a business transaction in that case, but there's different classifications of
Mhm.
transactions in the Venmo world, and
Yep.
the not a business ones are not reversible. There's
Yeah.
there's all kinds of caveats to navigate through in that space.
Yeah. That's a really good way to look at it. And I think that comes with all of the different options too. Like, okay, PayPal's kind of the, original, the OG of all the payment methods. They still are a, I think for some situations, they might be like the trusted source. Is it as
Mhm.
convenient? No, but they were built for this, right? So you can send the invoice, you can do those types of business things with PayPal versus, using a Venmo, which is a little more like cash, right? So,
Yeah. Guess who owns Venmo, right?
yeah, right.
It's PayPal.
Yeah.
Just different flavors of a similar experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating to think about sometimes.
See, this is frustrating me even talking about it.
Why? What do you work
Yeah.
up about?
Oh, because when you brought up PayPal, because I've had to like, I have a PayPal account and then I have to, but I don't use it every week or
Mm-hmm.
once a year maybe.
Yeah.
Like, oh, now I have to sign in and double verify my account, and I don't know.
So like your experience had some friction in it because you're not like an everyday user. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think password managers go a long way on some of that front. And to your point, like, yes, everything wants you to sign up for an account now. That is like the bane of people's existence. Yes, like, oh yeah, my such and such account, actually I could sign into this account with my other account. And that's like you're within that ecosystem.
Yes.
Oh, would you like to sign in with Google? Like,
Mm-hmm.
well,
Or like
would I?
shopping online, they're like, you can just sign in with your Amazon account. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Or you can sign right in with PayPal or Venmo even. Like certain places now, they're like, oh, you can just do Venmo to, pay for that. And I'm like, how is that how? But okay, you know.
So yeah, I can see your point, Steve, where some of that gets to be like, okay, this is too much. Like, forget this whole thing. Like, I'm just gonna go to a brick and mortar store or do something online with a service that I'm comfortable with that doesn't have that requirement.
But there is convenience benefits to all these things too. So I think that's where like online banking comes in big. Was there any aha moments for her that while you were talking, she was like, oh, wow, I didn't know that.
I don't know if it was an aha moment. I think it was just more feeling confident being able to make a choice and knowing that there's support out there, right? So, yeah, you might be wanting to set up a Venmo and there's not the, call and, hey, really like walk me through the step-by-step option. We can't advise you on, all the pieces of setting up a Venmo account, right? But, you can come into our office and say, I'm looking at options. Like I'm thinking of maybe Venmo. Do you have an option that would help me? Or do you as a financial know, like, is Venmo pretty safe? Or have you heard, XYZ about it? So, even like just knowing that you have a partner, whether it be one of us as a podcast host, feel free to call. You can always call me or your favorite MAR in an office who can sit down with you and just, talk through things and have those conversations and, even be like, listen, I know I did not get Venmo for a long time because I was nervous too. And here's kind of what I noticed. And so just know that there's someone out there that can kind of help you. And that's what we are truly here for too.
Did you guys talk about autopay at all?
We did talk a little bit about autopay. I talked about it like, I'm much more digital forward. Like I'm a little bit more trusting of things. I like to have my stuff set up on autopay. I'm also someone though where like I don't set it and forget it. Like I still have a, paper calendar. I write down every bill I have. And so, when my electric bill gets paid, I double check in my account. I cross it off, make sure that money came out. And so those can be really good tools, but being mindful what you're using them for. Like when it's a utility bill, with an actual company or, with your county and things like that, I feel comfortable putting in my information on their payment websites. And a lot of times they have those extra protections. They're encrypted, they're safe as long as, you're not doing it on public Wi-Fi and things like that. But be selective. Like you don't have to set it up for everything. If you are getting, Netflix or that kind of thing, that I throw on a credit card so that if someone hacks into that, I have the ability to work with, my credit card company and work on disputing that. And they don't usually have an extra fee for it compared to paying my water bill, right? So we talked a lot about that where I'm like, pick and choose the companies that are trusted and that, are probably like they're going to protect your information compared to just, putting it into whatever online store you're doing. And yeah.
Cool. Obviously, the most secure way to pay for something is with Culver's Scoopy Toad bins.
100%.
Because they're only good for ice cream.
True.
Or not true.
Oh,
You can
shoot. I'm getting my
True.
wires
You
crossed.
can save them and get cool Culver's merch.
and 10
10 of them get you a kid's
Oh.
meal. Yeah, I forgot about that. And the ice cream token is separate. I was thinking of the ice cream token. I was like,
It's not
it's only
ice cream. It is custard.
custard.
Oh, sorry.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
You guys, I think I've talked about how I don't really like custard because it's custardy compared to ice cream. And so the other day I was like, maybe I do like custard. And I got a scoop a vanilla custard with Oreos on it because I really wanted ice cream, and it was still custardy. It wasn't bad, but I still am an ice cream fan, if anyone cared.
I feel like it's like pizza or French fries. Like even the worst of ones are like they're still pretty good.
I mean, like, it was fine, but it was not a blizzard from Dairy Queen, I'll tell you that.
Well,
I like
Blizzard from Dairy Queen is not ice cream either. Come on.
Yeah.
You're
Soft serve.
Anyway.
Well, it is soft. It's iced. I know. I had a college professor who is a diehard Dairy Queen person because she like lowered her cholesterol by only eating Dairy Queen ice cream. It was not what I thought I was going to get out of a language arts class, but
You get what you get.
that's what I got.
for it. Yeah.
So
I think it's so funny that people give me a hard time about not liking apple fritters, but we have not heard anybody angry with you about not loving custard.
honestly, I'm kind of shocked because like
Me too.
Culver's is kind of, it's like equal to Quick Trip around here. Like it's the best thing ever, right? But I think, other people probably feel that way about custard versus ice cream, and to not like apple fritters is just wrong.
Can we have Culver's do like a special send you custard to like their top of the line custard?
Okay, listen, I do know the owners of our local Culver's, and so like I feel like she would do that just to be funny, so it's not encouraging.
I like.
But I mean, like, if all the ice cream companies want to send me ice cream to review, I'm not going to say no, but also I'd prefer donuts.
Wouldn't it be funny if my master plan was to get I loved apple fritters and I just want bakeries to send me apple fritters? That's why.
My boss did just tell me that we should do a road show and go to the bakery in Red Wing because apparently they have the best apple fritters.
Interesting.
And they sell out. And so
Red Wing, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I'm still waiting for the cooking show where you prepare an apple fritter on the set of Money Donuts here and somehow cook it.
I could make that happen. I might have to do it remotely at home, but we could do.
No, we need to do it here.
Do you think I can make it with an air fryer? I have one of those. Okay, now I'm going to research
Same
it.
like a toaster oven.
We're gonna
one of those little countertop oven doodads. Similar to air fryer, but
maybe I'm hungry, but the idea of going to Red Wing to
Yeah,
get
but-
apple fritter sounds delicious right now.
I think it's not that far.
all right. Knock it up.
No. But I feel like you don't bake an apple fritter; they're still fried. So the air fryer fried. You feel me?
I
I'm gonna research this.
honestly
and
hadn't thought twice about how they were actually made. So
no,
shoot,
I have.
a bit of a process.
You take a rock from the yard and you put some roast batter on it.
prepare apple fritter, discard apple fritter, assume donut. Dot.
Yeah. Okay. So I can before the end of 2026.
Oh.
You're getting an apple fritter baking segment. I'm committing to it.
As long as you shoot it on your own and edit it.
James said it has to be here, so
You can shoot it here. I don't care.
I was just grandstanding.
As long as I don't have to
don't
be
know.
here for it.
I have my friend Morgan got me a kitchen towel, that you can hang, and it says
kitchen towel.
it says Coop's Cafe or Coop's Kitchen or something because she got me a custom one year, so I have the perfect background if I do it in my kitchen.
All right.
Coop's Kitchen.
I know.
Apple
I
fritter.
gotta look. I can't remember.
You're on
what
deck
it's
for
show.
called.
Bake along with Cooper.
I am good at baking. Is one of my skills.
Yeah.
So
We never get baked goods on this podcast.
what? I mean, I will start making baked goods. Don't tempt me with a good time.
What's your go-to bar that you make?
I like to make my grandma's chocolate rebel bars.
Ooh, I like this already. Does it have coconut?
Nope.
Does it have
Bar should not have
But-
coconut. No to the coconut.
No, they're kind of like
no coconut? Butterscotch? Is there butterscotch involved?
no, they're like an oatmeal. They're kind of like an oatmeal chocolate chip, but it's more like a brownie. How the chocolate gets melted. They're like a unique thing that you can't find the recipe for just by Googling it. And my grandma's just adapted it over the years, but they're my favorite thing in the world. So I really love a good one of those.
What are they called?
I call them chocolate Revel bars.
Revel.
Like chocolate Revel bars. I don't
Maybe I'm hungry.
know. Otherwise, I have a super secret cookie recipe that my mom made that she doesn't give the recipe to anybody. And
Can you tell me what's in it at all? All the ingredients and how you make them?
They're like it's like a cranberry cookie. I don't know what she puts in it. And then the biggest thing is they're rolled in salted sunflower seeds. And then baked. So I'll make you those.
That sounded pretty healthy. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
There's a lot of sugar and butter, and I promise they're not healthy. They're delicious.
I got really excited about talking about sweet treats. So if you are listening to this episode,
Send us sweet treats.
Watch it on this camera or that camera, please subscribe. Write us reviews. Are there any cameras in here?
There's 2.
It'd be funny if we just didn't. I don't know.
What if you just forgot the camera?
Yeah.
Okay, we've been doing this too long.
And break.